Was I missed? Because I feel like I was. So I'm just sitting here waiting for the noise to stop. I said, Big G, I did everything. Now what's next? You thinking, it's time for you to move. I've been moving. You know, I've been moving, y'all. Everyone welcome. I said, let me see. Let me see what's on YT. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know, I feel like individuals sit behind the scenes, right? And they formulate plans to get exposure. And it's kind of like if you think about it, right? We place certain individuals so high up that we don't believe that they're capable of doing things. Hey, how you doing? And they definitely are. We be thinking like celebrities, celebrities don't formulate plans with others to get exposure. Y'all seen any good content lately? I've been sitting here working, 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 right? I always got something that I'm working on. And I was like, my supporters, my members, they probably think I'm resting. I'm not resting. I'm getting my energy together. A rest day will probably be tomorrow. I did 2 energy clearings because that's what happens when you are rocking with me. So, what I noticed, y'all, about the upper levels, because of the type of oxykenas these individuals have on them, which all of you have some type, but you don't think you do because you get money. You know, I noticed that, and this comes from experience, that with certain individuals off top, I gotta do an energy clearing before I even read for them. Then it has to be several throughout the readings and several throughout the week. Because if I know that you came to me specifically because something was on you, you felt like something was on you, then there's no convincing there. I don't have to convince you because you already know. The thing about supporters is they support you through all type of stuff. And one thing that I asked the Big G years ago, I said anyone that donate, make sure they get triple back. I asked for several things during my paradigm shift ascension and for a collective of individuals. I asked for things because what I noticed currently is people need blessings on them. And I'm not talking about the kind, this type of blessing, you may say it's a seed, but if you already got one on you, then you need someone to deposit high vibrational energy on you. And so it's like You trying to windmill, right? And still get up. My position, my spiritual position, is like no other. No other on this earth or any other. I have encountered spiritually energies that most won't even know is important because of the type of work that they do spiritually. The ones that are sought after in certain regions are a part of my team. I got individuals all way over there in Africa, Nigeria, that work with me spiritually. I'm grateful for that, but it didn't come without a cost. What I noticed today was several different regions with an asakina on them, something similar to a spell, realizing that they could not do what they were doing for decades to individuals. Regions, they speak different languages. They're in different countries. The things that are possible spiritually, most can't even fathom. So, I get upset, y'all. I get upset because it's like I'm talking. I know that is the big G. And I'm talking and I'm talking and I'm talking. I get so mad when he does not respond. And I say, I'm somewhere where I'm supposed to be a leader. No one taught me how to be a leader. I had to teach myself. That means at the drop of a hat, I have to know what is being done and what I need to do immediately. Could you imagine being the first out and having to lead a whole era of individuals? Because this is a spiritual revolution. It's a spiritual one. It's not easy, y'all. When I think about the greats and the stuff that they experienced, I say it's nothing compared to what they went through for their time. But it's everything for me. I don't understand. When you get to a certain level spiritually, you just think about everything that you went through, everything that you could remember. And you say, man, I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. And then when you get to a certain point, you like, it was all because of this. And then all of a sudden, he just take his great hand and pick you up and put you in something else. And you like, when I'm gonna start living? Because when my money was together, y'all, I still worked all the time. I did not stop working. It was 2 years of me working every day before I said, I need to take a break. I just keep going and going and going and going. This is not a break for me. When I say I'm working for free, it's because I'm not seeing the profit from my work. And the big G say, it's because it's somewhere else. He says stuff like that to me. And I'm like, well, why am I, why you got me somewhere where I got to ask for things? And it is because the pathway of ascension is the same pathway of descension. Because you got individuals that want to do things to people. There's no book that I've encountered that talked about the woman's role in spirituality thus far. It's always stuff like spells, sorcery, binding. It kind of diminishes our place in the world because we're not just about chasing men or chasing money. At some point, you just want to live. When I started getting watches and all of that stuff, I looked at it and said, it's pretty, but it don't make me happy. I imagine there's so many that are like that. And when I see flossing, it just, to me, it's like a overdid program. It's like, I said before, some have so much money, they don't have to. It's a small few that have so much money, they don't have to want for anything. When you add an awakening, it becomes wicked. Because now they want spiritual things. And the type of gifts some individuals have is priceless. Even some that don't have money want these, and they psych themselves to believe that they could do things like destiny swaps with $2 candles. They'll go around acting as if they are someone else, that they have someone else's finances. It's like a carefree living. It ticks me off, y'all, because before this all happened, I had that energy like, whatever. There's nothing I could do about it. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm doing the best that I can. So there's nothing that I could do about it. It's in God's hands. I had that it's in God's hands mentality. And because I had that belief down pat, I didn't let stuff stress me out. And then when I see visually, and I know spiritually, that these individuals have this belief, they have psyched themselves up to believe that they are someone that they are not, and that they will somehow inherited others' money. I see examples of it all the time on social media. And I say, the individual that this is happening to don't realize that this is one of them that is being monitored. It's not just a aha moment that they have when they decide that they finna do something, because it happens spiritually first. There's a plot first. I'm not talking about pre-med. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when somebody feel like they could overthrow someone that they feel is a giant. When I say you need to book with me, you need to join the membership, it's for a reason. I'm not sitting here trying to make my voice change like some of these dudes be doing on camera. Because that's how they do. I'm talking. And when I talk, they come through. Just like that. You see what I'm saying? It's no me fixing my lip, make my lip just walk. I don't do that. I imagine that the Creator, the big G, made it to where I'm not frightened by it because I'm one of them. Do you know how many want to be one of them? I do. Now that I've established that favor don't mean what we think it mean, that royal don't mean what we think it mean, royalty, two-door, all of that stuff don't, the definition that we have for it is not accurate. No, we've become accustomed to that definition, and we speak it, utter it as fact, and it's not. It's not. If you grew up and you were taught a cat was a dog and a dog was a cat, you would look at a cat and say, that's a dog. You understand what I'm saying? It fits. When we see cats, we say, yeah, cat, that's a cat. Cat sounds cute. Cat sounds like a cat could be a cat. You know what I'm saying? But what if we were taught that a cat was a dog? We would grow up and say a dog is a dog. You know what I'm saying? You probably saying it don't sound, but it's because we've been taught, trained, programmed certain things. And when you're programmed to believe that certain things are a certain type of way and this is this and that, then we believe it. Like entitlement. Some people that are backwards, they think backwards, they believe entitlement is a good thing because it sounds legit. Where there's a mix-up at is entitled. It's two different definitions, entitled and entitlement. I am entitled to this. This person has an entitlement attitude, demeanor. That means they feel like they're supposed to have something. And because they feel like they're supposed to have it, they are entitled to it. Entitled mean it was granted, it was gifted, you earned it. Entitlement means I'm supposed to. I remember when I said entitlement for the first time on camera. It was so much spiritual innuendos about that. Entitlement I feel like entitlement is a good thing. No, you don't, because that's why they're on top of your noggin like they is. Because they feel like they're entitled to your spiritual gifts. You understand? We grow up with a certain belief that things are supposed to be a certain way. Some of us believe we have to work hard, we got to get our education, and our life will be good. You can throw that out the window. This world is ran by favors, not favor. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You put my son on, I'm going to put your daughter on, type-ish. The same when you go into any corp. You think everybody sitting at the top is people that deserve to be there? I done already explained to y'all, I done been in several different fields. And what I learned when I got into the field is that not everybody was educated. Not everybody went to school, got a certificate, went to college, trade, and they still got the same position that I want. I remember when I went for my externship, and everybody in the front office, it was only two, that's why I say everybody. Everybody in the front office used to work at a bank. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you mean to tell me I didn't took out all these LOANs, and you hopped from the front of a clerk's position, a bank, a teller, into billing and coding? How you even know what's going on? Like, it took me 24 hours before I realized certain things about billing and coding. You need the book, first of all. So how you gonna say either they train you, all positions train you when you get on a job. But something like medical? Like what if you went in there to get a checkup, you know, and 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 the person that's trying to do your hemoglobin pressure don't even know how to read the thermometer on there. Like, you could have did that, because what is it for anyway? Y'all listen. That went over. Yeah, my point is, yes, they will train you if they want you there. But that's the point. Like, if they're going to train you to have that position, then why you got to go to school for it? Because education is a big business. That's right. Like, who going to be at the bottom if we don't program individuals to think a certain way? This is why the entitlement era is so detrimental. Could you imagine someone believing because they're born at the same hospital as you that they could take your life? What if you? I mean, like take your livelihood. Like, you was born at the same hospital, not the same day, not at the same time, but because you seen a sassafras birth certificate, you decide that, this is it's like they shopping. These ones ain't got no money. This is what this is their thought perception when they watch certain content. It's always something going on, with the angels. Always something. And that's my point, y'all. Like, I don't have no time. It's 24/7. I'm like BG. You know what I'm saying? Like you put a lot of pressure on me. Like 24/7. I can't even sit and play a game without it being work. So it's like, I've already established that it's a group that when I come on live, they know it's for them. They know how to prepare. But nobody prepared me. That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody sat and said either woo 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 woo. Because this is what all of these ones believe. That Lucifer is sitting somewhere saying either woo 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 woo. He not. The big G not saying either woo 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 woo. It is because I asked. I said, if there's going to be a paradigm shift leader, which I tried to demolish it, y'all. I was like, this too much. I said, all we need is separate ones. We don't need, but it's different. It's different ones for different times. It's a group one in a sense where it's a paradigm shift. We're going into a new paradigm type thing. Then it's the paradigm shift ascension. So I said, we need to do this separately. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing this no more, because to me, all of the ones in the entitlement era had connectic abilities. Some kind of way, necro. Some kind of way they did something doing their own personal ascension, and it became an imprint in the cosmos. And the big G allowed it. Now you're gonna say, why he allowed that? I don't know. I asked him. He didn't tell me. I come up with this greater good. It's for the greater good. The future. When I said that it's not, this not doing me. It's not doing me no justice. Why I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I'm not finna benefit off of it. Yes, you will. That's what they say. It's a whole underworld. A whole underworld that is wanting men to ascend to a higher level. And I told you that's what this paradigm shift ascension was about. Boys to, even if that meant boys to men ASAP. The ones that have not gotten it are still doing the same old thing. I know the outcome, but they don't believe it. It is proof of paradigm shifts ascension in the HOLYBIBLE that everyone makes so much reference to. In all types. The proof is there. You just don't know what to look for. I was one of the ones that, hey, I done told y'all, the big G, nobody doing right. Everything. I imagine in them times, somebody was just like me. Ain't nobody doing right. You know what I'm saying? You know, I say I know where I'm going. I don't bit know where I'm going. I just said, look, this ain't right. We got this over here, this over there. He know everything. Where I said that women were GODSs is where pantheons reign. You don't want to go over there. That's where that whole concept comes from. Women are GODSs. It comes from pantheons. Y'all have to understand, I don't like that part. I don't like being there spiritually. When I say spiritually, I mean in my mind. I don't like being where I'm a pantheon and where there's other pantheons. Not right now. The way I don't want to answer no questions like that. The way that most think is you got access to talk to anyone. And the thing is, I do just about. The ones that I would like to talk to, I don't even know their names because they're not written down in his story. So y'all gotta understand, it's a whole bunch that we don't know about. They know about us, but we don't know about them. So because I don't know the name to call on yet, those are the ones that I would like to talk to. But you gotta understand, when you say Ogun or Safio, Ogun is not a talker. When he talks, that he mean business. Shango is not a talker. They're not finna just sit, they do that amongst themselves. But they're not finna just sit and you know, I tried it before. I gotta tease them, you know, I gotta make them talk, you know what I'm saying? Say something funny, and then they'll respond. But other than that, they're not, if I say, Ogun, what is the price of rice in China right now? He ain't gonna say nothing. He probably laugh, but he ain't gonna say nothing. When I called upon Jesus Bezel and he could not talk, he got angry. It's not because no one bound his mouth. It is because of where he's at. Y'all gotta understand, this is spiritual stuff. You know, for when it depends on the group that is listening. If I were talking to a bunch of Baba Alus, which I call Babalus, the response to the things that I'm saying would be different because they already know what's possible. They see it. They understand it. Especially in Africa. They know. But out here is different. If I were to say, I talked to Lucifer, Cote d'Ivoire, the Devil, somebody would say I need an exorcism. But you don't know who Ogun or Sifio is spiritually. You don't know who he is. All you know is that his name is Ogun. I told you, I read somewhere that they gave his description, Ogun or Sifio, because he wants me to say the whole thing as a representation of G-O-D. In other places, they say he is Saint Michael. Do y'all understand that? It depends on what region you are in. The belief about Ogun or Sifio, and it is because he is one of the greats. They know his power. When you got a group of individuals that know the power and the strength of someone's name, presence, and energy, they don't question it. The same with Shango. Shango is not a talker. When I said that the women are worse, it's more than just angels, y'all. Y'all have to understand that they have different descriptions for a reason, because they were reincarnated and incarnated in different places. Bastet is the Asene Asanososhi. You don't know what Bastet is. You can't even say that she is an Orisha because you know that they represent her in Nasati, Niger. And that is the problem. It's not different cultural beliefs that is the issue. Listen, y'all.